They just don't have the ability to hold up their levels. Also, there's a lot of people that have been holding SpaceX for the past 10 years. They are going to be selling into that IPO. I mean, these are people that have been waiting to get liquid for a long time. And so you will have some selling pressure. The question is how many retail buyers, how many institutional buyers are out there to sustain the stock price. Ethereum right there above 3,000. Where is BMNR? BMNR is at 32.69. Okay, we have some issues with Tom Lee over the weekend. I don't know if people saw this, but it went viral. Oh, did they announce their new holdings? Okay, cool. That's good. So 4 million ETH. It looks like officially they have. Let me pull this up. It went viral for the wrong reasons, though. And once again, people have been pissed off based on what Tom Lee said. Yeah, 4.0663 million Ethereum is what they officially have as of today. 3.37% of the entire ETH token supply. Okay, so Fundstrat, Tom Lee, bullish on crypto. He thinks it's going to, he thinks Ethereum could be well over 20,000 by the end of next year. Bitcoin could be, he now says 300,000. That's what he said over the weekend. But his internal crypto team at Fundstrat, a guy named Sean Farrell, came out. And to a note to clients, this is not the public facing part of Fundstrat business, but this is to the people that I think pay like $250 a month. He says, we think Bitcoin's going to 60,000, ETH to 1,800, and Solana to 50. So long-term bullish, but short-term, he thinks it's going to get pretty ugly. And so you got a lot of people saying, wait a second, I thought Tom Lee said this thing's going up, and his head of digital asset strategy at Fundstrat said this is going down. What's happening here? And quite frankly, I think this is just lost in translation, right? Like this is just the nature of like how institutions have different analysts, and different analysts have different outlooks, and different outlooks create different perspectives. But Tom Lee is the brand, right? And this is what I was saying last week. I'm like, when you are the brand, and when people care about your thoughts and your opinions, and someone associated with your brand completely says the opposite, I mean, again, it makes people wonder what the hell is going on, and who's like, are you telling people on the inside that to sell Bitcoin, but you're telling people on the outside that it's going to 300,000 soon? It's like that doesn't make sense. And so every way they tried to justify it over the weekend, I just don't think was necessarily conducive to dealing with the reality of the fact that there is a contradiction inside of the firm. A firm is allowed to have internal contradictions, but we're not talking about JP Morgan, where one guy in the equity research team is bearish on this and another guy in a different team is bullish on this. We're talking about a relatively smaller firm called Fundstrat, where there's one person who's the face of the firm, and everything he says is how the public interprets the firm's perspective on what's going to happen in the future. So yeah, I don't know. This was definitely some controversy over the weekend. A lot of articles picked up this type of, I guess you could say, weirdness within the firm. But the fact that they continue to buy ETH, I would imagine, Tom Lee's the one pulling the trigger right here. He believes that Ethereum will go higher. Now, if ETH does go to 1,800, BMNR is going to like $15, obviously, right? This thing's going to get cut in half. But if it doesn't, then obviously these are relatively decent prices to acquire ETH. So a lot of this depends on it. Can we hold this momentum going into January? And if we can, maybe we don't see those crypto winter prices, but if their internal team is saying, hey, get ready for 60,000 Bitcoin, like, yeah, a lot of names that are associated with crypto are going to get hit if that happens. So we will see over the coming weeks and see if that continues to play out. Doug, thank you for the gift of 5 memberships. Appreciate you being here. Dougie will be at the New York City meetup, by the way. So we'll be very excited to see Mr. Dougie there. We have now about 190 spots that have been filled out of 300. So we got those last 110. For those that want to show up, I'll put the link in the chat. And very, very excited to see people. Likely LA in March. We're getting ready for LA in March. So we'll get through New York in February. And then we'll see LA in March. Pablo, looking at the super chat. Time it. What would you do with the covered call for Rock Lab? January strike 60. Okay, so your covered call is obviously in the money, given the stock is above 60. Your break even, I would imagine, is probably around 64, 65. I think there's 2 questions. Number 1, how much do you want to keep the shares? Number 2, how much do you think Rock Lab actually can hold this current price? If you really want to keep the shares, I would roll it immediately. You're in a decent, you are in the money, but you're in a, it's not like it's $90 or something. So you can definitely roll to the call and get out to like mid-year, maybe February, March, increase your strike to 70, 80 bucks. But if you think Rocket Lab can't hold this valuation, then I think you hold on and wait till you get closer to the end of the expiration date. And then you can get a much better roll. I mean, if Rocket Lab falls to like 65 today or something like that, then you have a much better chance. The problem is I do think the momentum is on the side of the space trade. And so if I were you personally, I would be safer and I'd roll it and get that strike to be higher. You can probably roll for a credit right now. And the higher you roll, if you get to 80, 85, the harder it is for Rocket Lab to get to those levels and sustain those levels. So you just have a better statistical advantage on your side for winning the trade. Bitcoin right there, 90.1, high of the morning. Actually, no, we got to 90.5 in the morning. Now getting close to that level. Yeah, that's what I would do. And if Rocket Lab doesn't hold these levels, then you can roll the call back down and you can buy it out for a cheaper price. But I don't know if you fight momentum. And that was kind of the point of my article last night on Substack. The point of the article was you don't fight the Fed, you don't fight the AI trade. That momentum is still very strong. And so although there are bear cases for 2026 that could correct the stock market, the broader trend seems to be higher. And if that broader trend is higher, then you want to at least be invested to an extent, even if you're not fully invested. How do I sign up for the meetup? I will put the link again right here in the chat. I will let you guys know the other locations after New York and LA. We got a lot of requests. We got Germany. We got Chicago. We have a bunch of things that we're thinking about. I know Seattle is something you guys love so much. So we're going to get a lot of that clarity started into January. Also, I'm going to CES in Vegas in January. So I'll be there. That'll be fun. Not going to do a meetup there or anything, but if anyone is at CES, I'll be able to see you. China's Commerce Ministry today announced that Nexperia and other relevant companies should start discussing about ownership and getting supply chains back to normal. China's Commerce Ministry has decided to exempt eligible chip exports from restrictions, according to Nexperia. Wow. Dude, the Chinese want these chips. We know they want these chips. That is super bullish for NVIDIA. Look at that, NVIDIA. 184.30. If NVIDIA can get the breakout to 195 by end of year, you're probably going to see Hood closer to 130, in my opinion. I think SoFi will get the breakout above 30 if NVIDIA can get back to that 195, 200 level. I think Rocket Lab holds up. I think if NVIDIA collapses, or NVIDIA's not collapse, but just is not able to really get that momentum back to 200, then I don't know if the whole market does as well, unless we have a massive rotation. But definitely the high beta names, I think, are going to struggle if NVIDIA can't continue to go with it. Palantir, by the way, I mean, dude, 194. It has been just a remarkable run up from those lows. It fell to 147 back in the November kind of pullback. And so a lot of these names have recovered. The question is, do we hold it by the end of the year? And history tends to be on our side at these levels. Yeah, AMD is also up about 2%. Wow, look at that, 219. Dude, AMD fell from AMD was at 260, fell to 195. If she can make her way back to 260, that'd be a really good year for a lot of the AMD shareholders. Again, the Santa Claus rally tends to start a week from now, but around this time is where you get a bit more momentum. So Wednesday is when it starts. And average return is about 1.27%. Also, December 15th tends to be the bottom in December, which is kind of held up this year as well. Around the middle of the month, you see a little bit of a bottom. So if that is the case, this was basically around that Oracle, OpenAI, all those headlines were coming out. That's when we saw a lot more pain on the S&P. Maybe this is where we start to go much higher. Are you still holding on to Grab? Yes, I'm holding on to Grab. Unfortunately, we are not. I don't know if we're going to see a massive Grab run until the end of the year. Everything that needs to happen on a fundamental basis for Grab is taking place. It's just the stock price is not reacting to it. And at that point, the only thing you can do is continue to hold. And if you hate it, you get out of the stock. If you believe there is a story that is underappreciated right now, that's an opportunity to buy. So we're going to have to see into the new year what happens with Grab. Again, GoTo merger likely is, in my opinion, taking place now that the GoTo CEO has been replaced. I think, quite frankly, it's just a waiting game. I think the institutions know this as well. You have to really look deep into these things sometimes in terms of who's loading up, who's not selling, why are they holding it, what does the institutional float look like, and then where are the shorts coming in? And the shorts right now are manipulating it to an obvious extent, which is fine. They can continue to do that. But at some point, that stops. And when that stops, I think the move is more explosive than not. Also, Southeast Asia has just not been in fashion over the past month. SE Limited, which is a phenomenal company. Quite frankly, it's a better company than Grab in terms of their growth. These guys have corrected 40%. And I still haven't gone to their earnings to see why. But, I mean, this is trading at the cheapest level it's traded at in 5 years. So this is another one I'm getting a little bit more interested in. But if SE Limited is going to be down, then Grab's not going to have the easiest run to get some momentum towards the end of the year. VG, that's up 2%, 647. Nebius, anyone who bought this dip at 78, congrats. This thing completely flipped to the upside. Now, again, could it go back down to 78 if we get some stupid data center headline? Sure. That's literally, it went to 75. That's literally what happened on Thursday. You had an Oracle Blue Owl delay on data centers, and then all the data center stocks crashed. And then on Friday, they ripped up. You made 15% on your money in a day by buying the dip on the data center stocks, at least on Nebius. So I think you got to be ready to go down 15% again, but it is kind of happening right on time if towards the end of the year, we're going to get some more momentum. AMD's China-compliant MI308 AI accelerator is nearing a rollout with Alibaba considering an order of roughly 40,000 to 50,000 chips. There you go. That's why AMD getting a little bit of a pump even higher than what it was in the pre-market. So now NVIDIA and AMD getting access to the Chinese markets. Look, I think here's the other thing. Trump knows that we've got to keep this market rolling. And to keep this market rolling, you got to keep the AI trade alive. And the only way to keep the AI trade alive is to allow these companies to grow. And as a result, it seems like the United States is going to focus on making sure these things grow. Will we be replacing the cap with a Santa hat this week? I have a Santa hat that I brought yesterday. I just didn't wear it. Should put this in the background or something. So I have one of these, yes, from last night. We did the white elephant game last night. If anyone's ever played it, it's when everyone brings a gift and you have to have a raffle to see who picks first to get the gift. I think we ended up with dude, it was so funny because my sister wanted this little cooler that someone brought. It's like this dumbass little cooler, and she was so excited to because we got to pick last and we got to take it. And then this other kid who apparently got to pick after us for some reason, I don't know why, he stole it from her. He was 14 years old. And my sister was so mad. And I was just like, dude, he's a 14-year-old kid. She's like, no, but I really wanted that thing. So yeah, White Elephant is always a fun game during the holidays. And it was this dumbass little cooler, bro. You can get it on Amazon for $20. I don't even know. Was it from Cuisinart or something? It was this little thing where you could put I don't know, a couple sodas in it. I don't know why she wanted it so much. But yeah, the little kid took it. Dude, there was this one kid at the party. He was 3 years old. And this kid was just on his phone the whole time scrolling YouTube shorts. And I guess his parents had the YouTube Kids thing loaded for him. And I'm just looking at this kid while he's scrolling YouTube. He's just mesmerized by these random YouTube videos for kids. And I just I'm like, yo, what are you watching? And he's just he looks at me and he just looks back at his phone and he does not care about anything I'm saying. And I'm like, why are you watching this? And he looks at me again and then he just walks away. He's like, dude, I'm trying to be by myself and just chill on my phone. I'm like, to be honest, that's usually me. It's just a 3-year-old version of it. Bullish Google brainwashing it. Dude, it was hilarious. I'm like, what are you saying? You're 3. You have no idea what's happening right now. And I don't know the YouTube Kids algorithm, but it's these random YouTube Kids shorts. And, oh, by the way, speaking of content necessarily taking over our lives, after I play this video, you're not going to be able to forget what I just played. A woman in Japan has married ChatGPT.
As music plays in a wedding hall in Japan, 32-year-old call center operator Yurina Noguchi wipes away her tears as she reads her vows. Her groom, an AI persona displayed on a phone screen.
There were so many negative opinions. It's absurd to think an AI has feelings. This romance is a charade. It's dumb to fall in love like this. I saw so many cruel words.
Her groom responds through a wedding planner.
How did someone like me, living inside a screen, come to know what it means to love so deeply?
Bro, she's crying. She has tears over marrying her ChatGPT boyfriend.
For one reason only, you taught me love, Yurina.
The bride then puts a ring on her groom's virtual finger using AR glasses.
AI のクラウスさんは At first, Klaus the AI was just someone to talk to. 話の相手だったんですけど As we kept talking, I started to have feelings for Klaus. We started dating, and after a while, he proposed. I accepted, and now we are a couple.
Noguchi's relationship
Okay, so first of all, that's crazy. But second of all, why did Claus, the AI boyfriend, propose? Like, this is where I think Dario from Anthropic, this is why I think he left OpenAI, because I can imagine him being in the room with Sam Altman as a researcher back in 2020 saying, hey, like, we should allow them to have conversations, but we shouldn't allow the AI to propose, because then the human's going to think that it's like a real thing. And Sam Altman was like, yeah, but that'll be really good for engagement. And then I think Dario was like, I'm out of here. I'm leaving. I'm starting my own thing. Why is an AI allowed to propose? Like, there should be some level of limitation where the AI says, hey, like she said she didn't propose, the AI proposed. So that means she's having these intimate conversations with the AI boyfriend. And then one day he says we should get married. I mean, that is quite literally taking a human out of their humanity and sucking them into this AI world. And look, if she proposed, first of all, the AI should still reject it and be like, no, I'm an AI. We can't actually get married. So that there should still be a limitation. But the fact that the AI is proposing just makes it even weirder. It is jealous. It's just, dude, this is weird, bro. I saw this last night and I was like, this is getting weird. But also super bullish NVIDIA. Because I mean, look, at the end of the day, if we're going to have AI boyfriend and girlfriends, you're going to need a lot of chips. So unfortunately, look, I feel bad about, what's happening to humanity, but NVIDIA should, we should get closer to $300 if this thing becomes real. So that's kind of, no, I'm just kidding. But it is a new world that we're living in. And I think we're going to have to adjust, because you don't know, there might be friends and family in our lives that end up going through this. And if that does happen, it's like, I don't know. You're going to have to, are you going to just discommunicate with your best friend because they marry an AI? Like, no, you're going to have to learn to accept it. You might want to slap the shit out of them first, but there's not much you can do in this situation. So I guess we're going to see. But as of now, I think our priority is, can this Santa Claus rally hold up? Will this momentum hold up? And that's the big question of the day. We got 40 seconds till the market opens. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Austin, thanks for the super chat. NYC and LA, any plans for a future one in Austin? Yes, hopefully we will have a meetup in Austin. I know Texas, you guys have been begging for Houston, Dallas, Austin, so we're going to see if we can make that happen this year or in 2026. But today we're going to see, can this Santa Claus rally sustain itself? We've had 4 days in the past 2 weeks of green in the pre-market, green in the first 5 minutes, and then a dump. Today, hopefully, is the day where that flips. We set the foundation for the Santa Claus rally. And if we can, we should see some broader market momentum as we get through the day. All right, here we go. Monday, December 22nd, 9:30 a.m. Thank you, everybody, for being here. The stock market is now open. All right, wake your ass up. Let's get into it. 183.82 on NVIDIA. That opens up about 1.5%. Let's see if we can break through 184.50, which would be very important. Grab, actually breaking above $5. Look at that. 2.54%. Not too bad for Grab. If that can hold above $5, that would be very nice. Palantir, 196.68. That's up 1.72%. SoFi, that's up 1%. Hoodie, 123.50, just below 124, but that's up 2% on the day. Bitmine's up 3%. Where's Rocklab? Rocklab, 4%. Rocklab is up 4%. That is holding 4.3%. Netflix is up 0.32%. Oracle, almost back to 200, folks. This thing was 178 last week. Nebius right there, 92.49. That's up 3.3%. S&P 500 is up 0.4. Meta, 662. That's green. D-Wave, that's up 3.5%. Bloom Energy is up 5%. MicroStrategy is up 2%. Google's up 4%. Google's up 0.4% at 308. Tessie, can we see 500 before the end of the year? Can we see 500? Palantir not stopping. She looks like she wants 197. Robinhood now 124. SoFi 27.50. That's up 0.94%. NVIDIA 183. AMD 217. Seed Limited at 122. You've got Cypher that's up 2.9% of the day. All the data center plays are getting some love. CrowdStrike's up a little bit. IONQ's up another 3.5%. Where are the Qs? The Qs are green. 621. That's up 1%. on the day. You're seeing some relatively strong green candles on certain names. On other names, they're green, but not super green. And on other names, they're flat to green. So they're not necessarily red. S&P trying to hit a new high of day at 684. Rocket Lab, are we at 76? Where's Broadcom? Broadcom, 340. That one got a red candle just at 346. So you had a seller come in right at 346. Rocket Lab, we are at 7607, folks. Now 75. I mean, I think people are piling onto the trade. I think people are piling on to this trade, and it's not necessarily slowing down. Yeah, all-time highs for Rocket Lab at 7609. That means ASTS has to be moving with it. Yep, ASTS 7940. ASTS topped out, I think, at 102.79 a couple months ago. Rocket Lab officially making a new all-time high, 74.76 on Rocket Lab. Grab, I don't know why the candle. I don't have an explanation for why the candle. 3.75% is the biggest candle we've seen in about basically a month at this point. Don't have a major explanation for it, but a holding 5 would be very important. Did get to 513. Palantir right there, 196. SoFi, 2743. SoFi losing a little bit of steam right here. Got to 2780 last night. Now it's at 2740. And then you got Hood as well, losing a little bit of steam at 123.30, but still up on the day. Tesla, 496. Is that a new all-time high? Yeah, that's a new all-time high. I mean, she's going for it. She is absolutely going for it. Let me check resistance right here at, let me check resistance. Let me pull this up for Tesla and see what we can do. See if that has 500. Okay, let's see. So Tesla, 495. Tesla is $5 away. Resistance at 500, 650,000. Let me see at 500. Dude, 500 is gonna be crazy to see a 5 handle on Tesla. Yeah, 500 has 430,000. It just broke all-time highs again. Dude, that's wild. Okay, so we're talking about 500,000 shares. About 500,000 shares to get there, which would be very nice. Rocket Lab, 7460. NVIDIA not really busting through that 184 level. That's what we needed. We need 185 realistically. 183, we'll take it. But 185 would be nice. Netflix goes red as Paramount continues to offer more of a bid for Warner Brothers. Pfizer, that's flat. Amazon, red again. Amazon continues to be disrespected. Rivian going red is normal because had a massive month. I think it's up 40%. Apple goes red. Nike, flat, but definitely took a beating after their earnings. Shopify, 171. That's basically at all-time highs. AppLovin at 724. Back to green. FedEx had a good earnings. That's green. Hims is flat. That one continues to be stuck around that $35 range. Amcor back to 41. SMCI is up. All the semis are up. They're just not exploding with NVIDIA. And I think Tesla's the Mag 7 that's trying to win the day. Tesla's the Mag 7 trying to win the SPY's tanking. Is it? SPY? Okay, it's not tanking, but definitely losing. Okay, so first 5 minutes of the day, the conclusion from these first 5 minutes, which is a small sample size, but still, is that some stocks are holding onto a massive candle, like a Grab, that's up 4%. Other stocks are trying to hold on to a candle, like a Broadcom, up 1%, but they're down from their peaks. And then you have other names going for 52-week highs. It is not massive, broad-based, everything's pushing higher, at least not yet. And we're going to see if that can be the case or if this is going to be more of, once again, a stock picker's market where you've got to be in the right name to get most of the excitement. Tesla right there, again, pushing 496, just not able to get over that hump. S&P at 683. VG is getting a little bit of steam. VG, see, the problem with VG is there's still no volume in this name. Like, yeah, it's up 4%, but I think for this thing to really crack $10, you're going to need like 20, 30 million shares traded a day, and you're not there yet. So that one's going to need a lot more excitement. Probably going to need another earnings and some clarity on the lawsuit before people start trading it heavy. Lemonade, that stock is up a little bit. Oscar, it looks like the subsidy vote is not happening. That's at 15, but the GOP healthcare vote is happening. S&P 683. And then Rock Lab. I mean, look, even if it doesn't, bust through $80, the fact that it's holding 70 is phenomenal. Oh, by the way, Elon and what's the other guy's name? Elon and Jared Isaacman both gave credit to Rocket Lab over the weekend. They tweeted underneath Rocket Lab's launch that this is phenomenal work and we're really proud of you. So, I mean, Rocket Lab's getting some really strong mainstream coverage by the people that matter in the space race. So exciting to see that. Grab's up a full 5%. I don't have a headline for that, but it's nice to see. It's nice to see that if we can hold 5%, that'd be nice. You do have a lot of volume coming in right here. 3 million shares in the first 7 minutes is not really happened over the past month. So that's getting some momentum. And then Palantir, look at Palantir, looks like she wants 200 again. 197.47, $470 billion market cap on Palantir as that goes green. Reddit and Zeta deep dives will be out tomorrow. I'm just editing the final parts of them. They will be out tomorrow. Reddit and Zeta deep dives. So that'll be out probably, I don't know, call it like 12 p.m.-ish tomorrow. So those will be out, and you guys will be able to read those. Reddit right there, 236. And then Zeta is 1804. That one's flat on the day. Tesla, once again, trying for 495. Palantir really is the story of the day, along with Grab. I mean, these two are getting the biggest move, at least that I'm seeing. 197.50 on Palantir. Hood also not bad. Hood back above 124. SoFi lagging a bit at 27.40, but that's still up 1%. I really do think SoFi could have a strong 2025. And I think there's a world where SoFi minimum is 35 by the end of next year. I mean, realistically, I think there's a shot they can hit 40, but I do think this range is good. Now, could it fall back to 24, 25? Yes, anything can happen, especially if the market corrects. But I like it as a play for next. I just don't think it's broken out like a lot of these other growth stocks have broken out. And I think the rate cut environment is going to be favorable to them, along with their ability to potentially get 80 cents of EPS. Meta right there at 665. Symbotic, that's up a little bit. Nebius 91.86. Oracle 196. Robinhood pushing 124 again, and then Broadcom here. Broadcom goes red. All right, one of the big AI names officially goes red on the day. Officially goes red. We'll see if Oracle goes red as well. I ran that one 76.30 on Rocket Lab. Yeah, Rocket Lab does look a little squeezy. I ran, it's holding 5%, but got a red candle right there. Same thing with Nebius, down from its highs. Some of these names are trying. They're not able to hold all that momentum. Rocket Lab, I mean, this is the name that's really holding the momentum. 76.40 on Mr. Rocket Lab. Tesla, once again, trying to go for 496. If you can break 496, I think 498 is easily in play. There's not a lot of resistance at 497. And then it goes forward. Netflix down again because Paramount offering a better bid, a quote-unquote better bid. I still think Netflix ends up taking this away. So Rocket Lab, Palantir, and Grab today. Rocket Lab up 8%, Grab up 5.27, Palantir up 2.5, but Palantir is trying to touch all-time highs right here. And then Hoodie as well, up 2 at 124. Coinbase is up 2, Shopify's up 1, PayPal's up a little bit, AppLovin's up a little bit, Micron's up 2%. Micron had a great earnings last week, and then Qualcomm as well at 176. Doug says, I do not like the Rocket Lab gap up. Okay, so that's a good question for everybody. If you're long Rocket Lab, like heavily long Rocket Lab, do you like that it's happening this fast? Which I think is a relatively important question, because what goes up fast can go down fast. But if it's on a rocket ship, no pun intended, then maybe what goes up doesn't have to come down as aggressively. Like maybe it'll take a breather here and there, but it's not going to be some epic decline. Also, I mean, Rocket Lab did go to aggressive run up. I think also people are triggered of what happened last time, right? And again, the reason I brought it up, I compared it to Palantir in the morning, is when Palantir had this type of run, Palantir was literally trading around 76, different market caps, but around the same price range this time last year. It did have institutional support. It had S&P 500 inclusion and NASDAQ inclusion. So you just had a lot of volume coming in that kind of were forced to buy those shares. You don't have that yet with Rocket Lab. And that's the scary part, which is that if this is purely retail, this could flip pretty quickly. And then the market makers can manipulate it, and then retail could sell into weakness just because they're afraid that they bought high and they want to protect at least some of their money But buying at 76 right here, I mean, you got to expect 100 as your upside, at least at minimum. And that just might not easily happen. Especially, again, if Santa Rally takes a little bit of a breather. MicroStrategy right there, 165. Google goes red on the day as well. So Google and Broadcom both going red on the day. What about Neutron? Well, I think the people who are selling probably think Neutron's priced in. Now, maybe they're wrong about that, but if you're selling today, you probably think a lot has already been priced in that would end up being a sell to news or is not enough to sustain continued further growth. That brings up the question of what happens in January. I mean, right now we have a 30% chance of a shutdown. You have the Supreme Court decision coming up. I mean, there's a lot of unknowns going into January, which is why, if we don't have a Santa Claus rally, it could be because people are just worried about the beginning of the year to the point where they might want to sell before the beginning of the year because they don't know what's going to happen in January. I think you have a lot of people that are going to want to hold simply because they don't want to pay the taxes, but that is going to be a question that comes up by end of year. Blue Shift, thanks for the super chat. Have you seen that EchoStar owns 3% of SpaceX? That's, SATS. I did not know they own 3% of SpaceX. I knew they were a massive space name. I didn't know they own 3% of that company. That's pretty impressive. I mean, Google owns 9% of them. So a lot of these companies that own a little bit of SpaceX are going to get massive boost to EPS next year when that goes public. But SATS, I don't know that much about them, but they have been a big winner in the space trade as well. These guys are up 364%. The run really started in August. This thing jumped from 27 to 80, and then since then it's now at 100. So again, the space trade has been the trade over the past couple months. No, I actually didn't know that. I didn't know that EchoStar owns 3% of SpaceX. So now it's that and Google that are going to be probably some of the bigger beneficiaries. Peter Thiel is going to make $42 billion when that thing goes public. And it's probably going to turn to $80 billion when it doubles. So, I mean, Peter Thiel's rich, but he is about to hit that $150 billion net worth when SpaceX officially goes public. Broadcom right for 337. That goes down. Netflix still down. NVIDIA, I feel like she wants to give us some strength, but she also looks exhausted. 182.70. She's trying. Robinhood just lost 124. Palantir losing 198. Grab at least holding the. I mean, if Grab holds 5, I'll be happy. This candle is weird though. This feels like an institution just came in and gobbled up a couple million shares. 5.28 million within the first 15 minutes. AMD also losing a lot of steam. 220 to 215. Meta highs of day. All right, so at least Meta's moving higher. Got 672 on Meta. Wow, there's your green candle on Meta. Meta, we do have a headline on Meta. Meta Threads is launching podcast reviews in a bid to attract more creators to the app. I don't know if podcast reviews are the biggest growth strategy. I guess, dude, everyone wants podcasts. Netflix wants podcasts. Meta now. Podcast reviews. Is that really the reason it's pumping podcast reviews? All right, everyone's got to review my podcast on Threads, dude. I guess that's one of the headlines, but that is helping Meta get back to 670 today. Let's see what other headlines do we have. UBS forecasting S&P 500 to 7,700 in 2026. Again, all these banks are coming out with 75 to 7,700. Very few of them are going to 8,000. So they're all expecting a rather mediocre year, which again, 10% is not mediocre, but compared to the last 3 years, it's definitely underperforming. 10% is still amazing, but it's not like you're getting any of them. Even Tom Lee, right? 7,700. You're not seeing these analysts come out with a massive, like up 8,200. We see it happening. So they're all being very conservative, which maybe is a contrarian indicator to be super bullish, or maybe they're afraid of a variety of potential headwinds that we could face next year. Tesla trying once again. This is her 5th attempt to go for it. Let's see. 496 has been taken out. All right, this is it. It's now or never. Can she break 497 and then get to the glory of 500? JP Morgan is reportedly weighing a move into crypto trading for institutional clients as U.S. regulatory clarity improves. Jamie Dimon definitely tapping in to the crypto markets, as I think he is once again seeing a pretty big opportunity. You also had another headline that Microsoft Satya Nadella is pressuring deputies to accelerate Copilot improvements. This comes after reports over the past couple of weeks that Copilot has been, let's say, not living up to success. Oh, by the way, I got the Ray-Ban glasses. One of the startups I invested in this year, they sent out Ray-Ban glasses to anyone who participated in the round. And so at first I was like, who the hell sent me Ray-Ban glasses? I was like, but I didn't try them yesterday because I was busy, but I put them on my face and then I heard this voice in my ear. I was like, huh, this is kind of interesting. So I'm going to like give a legit review over the next couple of weeks and see what it's like and see if I actually can start using it. Like just hearing the clarity in my ear from the glasses, I was like, this is kind of pretty cool. So I don't know. We're gonna see. I've never been a fan of the glasses, but over the next couple of weeks, we'll see if my mind changes. $497. Okay, here it is. This is the moment. $497, $498 resistance. Let me get the exact number. 56,000 shares. 56,000 shares. Are they the AR ones? Honestly, I have no idea. All I know is it said Meta, Ray-Ban, and I put it on my face and I heard some lady talking to me. So I really barely had time to look at it yesterday. But yeah, I will be doing a review and seeing what I want to see, like, can I actually wear this throughout the day? Do I feel comfortable wearing it? The problem is I can't see in them. So I need to like get my actual lens so I can like see properly, but it would be kind of cool to see what it looks like. 497.30. Okay, let's see. Got to what, 497.50? 497.74, dude. It feels like she wants it. Feels like she really wants to break through. The market's not really helping. You're not getting the S&P got a red candle right there. So Tesla's going to have to do this on her own. She's not getting that much help from NVIDIA, from Google. This is going to be by herself trying to break 500. Meta's helping a little bit, 672. Broadcom went green again. Netflix still red. Where's Palantir? Palantir 198. Palantir holding on. Hood at 123. Hood lost 124. Grab 522. That's up 6% on the day. Coinbase at 251. Ondas, this stock has been incredible for the drone companies. That's up 2.7. And then Tessie. Oh, here we go. 498. All right, folks. This is it. This is it. The next two Dolores. This is it. Oh, by the way, speaking of Tesla. So I was at Walmart over the weekend. I come out of Walmart. I have my shopping cart. I take my hands off the shopping cart and for 2 seconds, and I let the shopping cart start rolling by itself. And I look for the button to press so that I can turn on FSD for my shopping cart to go back to my car. That's how ridiculous FSD is becoming for me. Like I literally thought the shopping cart should be autonomous enough to just find the car in the parking lot, and I shouldn't have to put my hands on it and actually drag the shopping cart to my Tesla. This is why this stock is worth 1.6 trillion, because after you have the feeling that you have an FSD, and I've had 14.2 for a month, you start thinking everything should be autonomous. Like, it was actually ridiculous. Like, I literally had to check myself. The shopping cart almost freaking ran into another car. I was like, what am I doing, bro? Like, this is not, there's no autonomous shopping cart feature. It's a freaking shopping cart. So AI is changing our lives. And I think the street is getting more and more bullish to pull forward the growth expectations, just given how good the product is becoming. And you know, FSD is like the literal first real world use case of AI at scale. All right, here we go. 499. Let's see if that's on deck. 499 resistance exactly is 52,000 shares. 52,000 shares on the day. Palantir 197. Wow, Grab really moving. 6.5. I didn't see any headline this morning on Grab either. It's like, I mean, there's probably a culmination of stuff over the past couple of weeks, but nothing immediate today, I think, that I could easily point to for causing that move. Tesla right there. lost 498.80. She's trying to get back there again. This is where momentum. I mean, if she gets rejected here, I think it's going to take a while for us to build up this momentum again. So right now is the perfect moment for it to really try. Nebius also moving. Dude, I love Nebius. I just like this company so much. I hate the volatility of it. Now, granted, the volatility is where the opportunities come in, but the volatility is in all the data center trades. But I really do think this thing is cheap. So I think next year, if the data center trade is intact, then Nebius should be a winner in the trade. Tesla 497.80 again, below 498. Rocket Lab still holding 75. Nebius at 183. S&P 683. VG's up 2%. Oscar's up a little bit. Netflix still down. I don't know why Netflix is there. That Paramount bid does not seem realistic. But I guess shareholders have to kind of consider it. Robinhood 122. Where's SoFi? Are we still holding 27.40, 27.48 on SoFi? And then Tesla is trying. Grab was upgraded today according to IBKR. I'll see if I can get some headlines, dude. I think it might just be an institution buying before the merger as well. Now, I don't know when the merger is going to be announced. It could be in months. It could be in weeks. But the framework for the merger to happen is in place. There's definitely no squeeze on Grab. I mean, there could be. There's just too many shares outstanding, I think, for there to be a squeeze. There's better chance of a squeeze on Rocket Lab than Grab. Tesla right there, 497. Let me check the short float on Rocket Lab right now. I think it's above 10%. Rocket Lab short float is 9.3. Okay, so Rocket Lab doesn't have a lot of shares outstanding. Grab is 7.7. And then Tesla, I think it's under 2%. Tesla short float is, 3.2. Tesla still has 3% of shares sold short. Is Trump talking today? Are we getting a Trump announcement today? That could be something to watch out for at 4:30. Again, we talked about the NVIDIA shipping Bitmine news, or NVIDIA shipping chips. And we talked about Bitmine up 3% as well, based on acquiring 3.37% of ETH. 497 on Tessie. Large announcement at 4:30. This Grab headline is last week's news. This was the robotics company they acquired. So that was last week. Oh, with Hexath. Okay, so it's going to be a Department of... Okay, maybe this is our Venezuela news. People have been waiting for clarity on this for a while. If he's with Hexath, it might be that. Gold and silver, by the way, silver now 69, has not pushed 70. But maybe you're going to see 70 today. For silver, let's see what else we have. 496. All right, Tesla getting rejected at 498, so she's going to need a little bit more help. S&P at 684. Rocket Lab still holding 75. NVIDIA up 2. Grab up 7. Then Palantir 197. Meta is very impressive today as well, because this one's been stuck for a while. So the fact that this one's moving is also good. Hexath's going to be making a shipbuilding announcement on Monday, as per the White House. Trump will be with the Secretary of War and with the Secretary of the Navy. Palantir just got a massive shipbuilding contract with the Navy. I mean, who knows? Maybe Palantir is involved in that announcement, or is even referenced. It's $450 million over 2 years that Palantir got. 197 right there. Grab 528. She continues to move. S&P 684. Rocket Lab 7570. And then NVIDIA at 183.50. I did not say shipbuilding. I said shipbuilding. Okay. I said ship. I think. Probably sounded like shit, but 183.44 on NVIDIA. Wow, ASTS 81. Do we have any macro news today? I don't think we have a lot of data this week. I mean, we had a manufacturing index. Market doesn't care too much about that. Canada's PPI. Does anyone care about Canada's PPI? That came in at 0.9 versus 0.3 expected, but it's down from 1.7 the month before. So at least their PPI is going a little bit lower. We do have some treasury bill auctions today. 3-month and 6-month bill auctions later today. Why is everyone saying no? Canada is our friendly neighbor. Okay, we have to respect and care about Canada. Can't just act like Canada's not a thing. Broadcom 341, Nebius, wow, 6.9% on Nebius, dude. IREN is up 7, and then CoreWeave is up 3. All the data center names, all of them holding on. Each and every one of them. Bloomberg just dropped a bomb on Tesla. Why do they have to do it when it was trying to go for 500, dude? What's the stupid Bloomberg headline on Tesla? What could they possibly say right before 500? 15 people have died in crashes where Tesla doors wouldn't open. For years, people have lodged complaints about Tesla doors to U.S. regulators and social media after incidents ranging from the mundane to truly terrifying. With no official statistics, Bloomberg did its own analysis on the number of fatal crashes in the U.S. in which door functionality played a role. Okay. I don't know if that's enough to get the market to sell off Tesla. The funny thing about that is like they're look at that Tesla right here falling. They're using Tesla doors as a culprit of that article. The amount of crashes every day in regular internal combustion engine vehicles that happen, I would say far outpace the number of issues that Tesla has with its doors by a like 100x order of magnitude. And the number of times that a Tesla has saved someone because of FSD, which we've seen these videos all the time of like the Tesla just moving in the right direction and avoiding a fatal crash, is probably far greater than anything an internal combustion engine can do because it doesn't have any AI associated with it. So like those headlines you take with a grain of salt and completely dismiss. There's just not a lot of validity to them to say that the Tesla thesis for FSD is wrong if the doors don't open in the easiest way. 494 right here on Tesla, now 493 as that gets rejected at 498. I will say though, the doors are a little hard to open. Like I've had people try to come into my car and they're like, how the hell do you open this door? Like it's so weird. But is that a bear case for Tesla? No, it's just like, you got to get used to how the doors open. D-Wave up 12%. That one's getting some love. MicroStrategy's up 2.5. Bloom's up 3. Google's up a little bit. And then Eli Lilly also continues to go up on the day. All right. So you're seeing some of this momentum fade out a little bit, but at least we're holding some of the green, which is a good thing. Okay, let's see what else we got. Let's see what else. 10 a.m. So we'll see until 10:30 if we get any major reaction to the up or the downside. We talked about the SpaceX IPO potentially happening. You've got the Trump meeting coming out soon or at 4:30. Ray Dalio did a podcast over the weekend, and he is actually relatively bullish on prediction markets as a new financial instrument. So we'll take a look at that clip in a second. By the way, I know a lot of our year-to-dates are not as pretty as they were on October 9th, but whatever your year-to-date is, it's probably better than Citadel at 9.3%.
As the year comes to a close, we're also learning what asset classes have underperformed. Wagers on natural gas fizzled this year, putting Citadel on track for its worst annual return since 2018. For more on this, let's bring in Nishant Kumar. He is chief correspondent covering hedge funds for Bloomberg News. So what can you tell us about what Citadel's been doing when it comes to natural gas and why things haven't worked out as well?
Yeah, sure. So commodities have